Thank you for joining me for part 3 of how to thread the Kenmore 117.141 rotary sewing machine. As you'll notice from our previous videos, this machine does have 2 spool pins on the top. We used the far right one when we were winding the bobbin, and now for threading the head of the machine, we will move the thread to the forward spool pin. I'm going to keep the camera focused on this area because their thread will leave this spool of thread and come to this area first. At the end of the video, I will have either another little video just as a still shot of a piece of paper, or I'll find a way to put it in the comments below. But this is a picture that I was able to download from the internet, and it shows threading a machine with this type of thread path. You'll notice the thread is entering from the right-hand side. It's going behind the little pin. It's going to go in between 2 discs, and it will exit this area through a little double fork area. And then we're going to thread the left-hand side of the machine. As I'm threading this, I'm going to hold the thread with both hands as though I'm flossing my teeth. This is going to help ensure we get it into the thread guides properly. Make sure that the take-up lever is in its highest position, as you'll see I'm pointing to here. If it is not, turn the hand wheel away from you until the take-up lever is its highest position. Also, be sure that the presser foot is up and it's not touching the feed dogs. That will ensure that we thread the machine properly. Holding the thread, I'm going to go from behind the little pin in between those discs we talked about and down between the forks. I'm going to move the camera just a slight bit to see if we can see the left-hand side a bit better. Apologize for the camera shake there. I think we're going to be able to do that. Okay, so once we leave these forks, we're going to come down to what they call the tension plate. So with the thread, like I'm going to floss my teeth. Let's see if I can get this to focus more on this and my hands. It's trying to auto adjust for my hands. We're going to go behind the strap. And then notice as I lift up, it picks up a little spring. I'm going to pick up on it again to make sure that I get it. And I do have it, because you can see as I lift up with my left hand, it's pulling on a spring. That's very important. Okay, I'm going to grasp the thread a little bit different, but still holding with both hands. And we're coming now to the take-up lever. Our take-up lever, you'll notice, has a slot in it. It comes up, but then this part goes from right to left. So our opening is right here. I'm going to take the thread and go in. You'll hear it click and then pull back to the left. We're now going to head to a thread guide that's down below this area and right above the needle. So I'll reposition our camera once again. See if we can get it zoomed in a little bit better. And I'm hoping you can see this. It's really tricky for me to see even just looking at it, but looking at it through the camera makes it a bit trickier. I think right here is going to show you really well. This is what we're looking at here. This is our next place to get our thread. And I find that if I hold my thread in such a way that I can get it below the needle, apologize for that, my hand's in the way, and come in from the back. So I put it behind the needle bar and pull downward. It put it properly into this little metal guide there. Now we're going to thread the needle. This particular machine is unusual as well because the way the needle goes in. Our most modern machines, most of them, the flat side of the needle will go to the back. This one, the flat side of the needle points to the left. So that puts the front of our needle being threaded from the right to the left, not front to back. Flat side of needle to the left, thread from right to left. If you have trouble threading your machine, you might want to pick up a little needle threader like this. There's very many different varieties on the market. My eyes are older now, and it's kind of tricky to see to thread front to back, much less right to left. Package, this was from Dritz, D-R-I-T-Z. They're about, I think, $9 or so. You can pick them up at a lot of different sewing centers or order online. I put the thread horizontally to what I call its mouth. You'll kind of see it looks like a mouth there. Put the other two prongs alongside the needle. As I push downward and it finds the eye of the needle, it's going to push the thread through the eye. And I don't want to press super hard. This is really light, a light maneuver. And there you'll see that's already stuck that little bit of a loop through there. I can use this little hook on the tool to grab it and pull it through. I a lot of times find that if I take the point of a little small scissor, I can usually catch that loop and pull it through. To raise the thread from the bobbin to the top, again, then remember this machine turns away from us to sew or to raise the thread. So I'm turning it away from me while holding the top thread. Once I make a full revolution and that take-up lever is back up at the top, you'll see I have a loop of thread along with my top thread. If I pull that, you'll see how my bobbin thread is now in between the feed dogs through the stitch plate opening. Catch the two threads in the opening of your presser foot. And now we're going to make a short little seam. By the mere fact that the camera is sitting so close to the machine, of course, you're going to hear a lot more motor noise and such as that. So give me just a moment here while I reposition. The machine, I'll move to a later part, but to the right of the machine is your stitch length. It is actually located to this side. This part here in the little window, you'll see a number. If it's in black, you're going forward. If you have the number in there, it's red, you would be sewing in reverse. This one, as I turn it downward for reverse, there's numbers that are in there in a red panel. It's so old though that the numbers have kind of come off, but just think about down for reverse, lift up to go forward. And for this particular machine, about 4.5 is where I'm going to go for just a normal stitch length. Again, it's probably going to be kind of loud, but I'm going to lower the presser foot onto the fabric, hold the thread tails as I begin sewing, and let's see how our stitch looks.